Hey, hey, hey. Time for an out of this world story from rSpace. How do we move on from a cheater? Today on rSpace, think of it like a do-it-yourself project. You start with a mess of mismatched parts and, through a lot of elbow grease, end up crafting a masterpiece. My 29 male girlfriend, 27 female, wanted to open the relationship. I said no. She decided to open it anyway. Hi everyone. I'm using this subreddit for the first time after stumbling upon it after I found out my girlfriend of 9 years cheated on me. I'm not really looking for any advice on how to get the relationship back, as I am fully aware that the ship has sailed. Still, I find it very therapeutic to write about the experience and appreciate any support offered on how to move on. Note that this entire ordeal has happened about a month ago, so the wound is still relatively fresh. I guess the one issue that I am consistently struggling with is the infidelity itself. Having put my guard down and being betrayed by the person I love truly changed something in me. I have a hard time coping with the betrayal and the fact that she went back to her lover. More on that later. Let me start from the beginning, as I think it makes sense to add some context here. My now ex-girlfriend and I have been together for 9 years, coming up to our 10th anniversary. We both met each other in high school and started seeing each other romantically during university, and were essentially each other's firsts. During this entire time, our lives were bliss. We had an issue of being in a long-distance relationship as we both went to universities in different parts of the country. Nevertheless, distance was never an issue, and we made every effort to see each other as often as possible. Fast forward to about 8 years into our relationship, and we were able to finally find a way to live together in the same city and moved in together. I was overjoyed, and while there were some minor hiccups during the first few months, everything worked out. Throughout our entire relationship, however, I had always received comments from close friends and family that they felt the relationship was unbalanced. The issue that they had highlighted to me was that they felt I was always the one giving 110%, while she essentially was going along for the ride. I was the primary breadwinner. I cooked, I cleaned, and basically ran the entire household. Truth be told, I never did mind being the pillar she could rely on, as it fulfilled me. She came from a relatively broken home where her parents had divorced at an early age and both were desperately trying to find love without much success. To put matters into perspective, the mother was always a tad jealous of her daughter given how well I was treating her. In her eyes, I had some ulterior motive, but I digress. Back about 1.5 years ago, my girlfriend had suddenly confronted me out of the blue during a car ride to a bowling game that she felt sexually unhappy, and that before settling for marriage, she would want to try out new experiences by opening the relationship. This statement hit me like an absolute truck. She had managed to dismantle my masculinity and put into question our entire relationship in a time span of 5 minutes. In hindsight, my reaction was definitely too aggressive. I was shocked, hurt, and confused. So I raised my voice and was on the verge of tears, asking her what more I should be doing in this relationship. Mind you, I was putting in a ton of effort into exploring our sexual lives. I read books, tried new things, and always was looking to spice things up, but, like in the household, I was doing most of the work while she basically sat back and waited to be sexually gratified. We ended the conversation in the car with an agreement that we would not open the relationship and that we would both try our best to figure out how to work through this problem. We had sex more often and tried out new things, but this conversation came up again in passing about half a year ago. But again, minimal effort in bringing up this topic and no consideration to my feelings whatsoever. I told her outright that if she felt so strongly about this topic, which I can totally reconcile, we should have a clean breakup and simply reconnect sometime down the line, but that there would be a risk of us developing feelings for new people. The idea that I would be giving myself to someone new shattered her, and the discussion ended there. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, we clearly have this issue, but we are working through it. Every other part of the relationship is working incredibly well, and if we put our minds to it, we'll also manage this problem. Fast forward to about 1.5 months ago. My girlfriend had decided to go with a friend of hers to Monaco, and while I always fully trusted my girlfriend, her going on a girls' trip with this particular girl didn't sit right with me. This friend of hers is a sex worker, and I want to be fully clear that I am not judging her for her line of work. Still, she has demonstrated to me on numerous occasions that her views on relationships, as a result of her profession, were completely unaligned with mine. Nevertheless, I trusted that my girlfriend and I were on the same page, so I had nothing to worry about. The trip ends, and she comes back home super happy and wanting to plan our next vacation to Monaco. Again, nothing out of the ordinary yet. A week later, I head to a one-night business trip and get a call from my girlfriend as I arrive at the hotel. She starts off the conversation by saying that our discussions about the open relationship never faded away, and that while in Monaco she met a person that she wanted to go out for drinks with, just as a flirt. I am shocked and completely taken aback, but I find the strength to gather myself. I tell her that I understand her urges and that I can be the bigger man and approve of her going to drinks, but there would be absolutely no sexual contact. She promised me that nothing would happen and that we would end the discussion. Of course, I can't sleep all night. I see her going on and off WhatsApp at 3 a.m, so I try calling her to no avail. I somehow fell asleep for a few hours and woke up the next day desperately trying to contact her. Eventually, she picked up, and I told her that she needed to come clean to me, that I'd had a bad feeling all night and that she owed me an answer. What she said next completely broke me. She said she slept with him, but that it meant absolutely nothing and that we should talk about it when I get back home. I broke up with her in that instant. I fly back home and sleep on the couch to gather my strength to discuss the matter in the morning. In my mind, I knew that there was no going back, but that I needed to confront her one last time. I had a complete emotional breakdown. When I say I was crying, I mean really crying. A real guttural cry that I never had done before. She didn't shed a single tear, but was incredibly remorseful. Side note, she always had a very hard time expressing her emotions. I told her that I was going to fly to my parents and that she would need to move out. For the next weeks, she sends me incredibly long and heartfelt messages of encouragement, engaged her mother to try and reconcile the situation, and promises never to see that man again. During this entire time, I told her that all of this is too little too late, that I can't trust her and that I want to move on, but that there might be time for reconciliation somewhere down the line if she promised me to work on herself in the meantime, which included not seeing this man again. Fast forward to today, and I head back to our flat as she has since moved out. I started crying, remembering the ghosts of the past. All our memories that we made together in this home of ours seem like a lie, and while I need to face the music, it still hurts to forget the past. Here's where things take an even darker turn. As I arrived at the flat, a good friend of mine calls me and tells me that he had heard that my girlfriend went back to seeing the guy that she cheated on me with, and that this was going on pretty much ever since we broke up. Although I could stomach coming back to the flat, the news of her returning to him completely floored me. After claiming that she wanted to rebuild the relationship and was incredibly remorseful for what she had done, she decided to do a 180 on her word. After cleaning up the flat a bit, I opened the laptop that we both shared. I found that she had not logged out of her account, and as if the universe wanted to tell me something, her WhatsApp had opened to the chats she was having with this person, and the rumors were immediately confirmed. I didn't snoop long because I knew of the harm I was causing to myself, so I deleted her entire account off the laptop after a few minutes. All this happened just 2 hours ago, and I'm trying to get this knot out of my stomach by simply writing about it and talking to friends and family. I was able to move on while I was staying with my parents, but this new information feels like I've been dropped yet again into the deep end. My stomach is constantly turning, knowing that she gave herself fully to this person that she knew for only a few weeks, and that she went back to him for more while throwing everything we built up together right out the window. Sorry for the long write, but I really needed to get everything off my chest. How do people who were betrayed move on with the knowledge that the person you had built a life with decided to move on with their lover? The feeling of inadequacy is overwhelming, and although I always considered myself to be a confident person, this life event has changed me completely. How do I regain my sense of self? Any help is truly, truly appreciated. 9 years, a high school romance, and all you got was a ticket to the betrayal derby. Yikes, OP. First, you have to let yourself feel all the emotions. It's like emotional cardio. Cry it out, scream if you need to, but don't skip the session. Feel like a fool for trusting? Check. Feel like your self-worth has taken a nosedive? Double check. But guess what? That's normal. The trick is to channel that into something productive. Keep writing, talking to friends, and engaging in things that make you happy. Eventually, the ghost of this relationship will become just that, a ghost. Small update. Before deleting her number and blocking her everywhere, I confronted her via WhatsApp about me knowing everything about what happened post-breakup. Again, I am fully aware that we broke up, but over the past weeks, I was under the impression she would try to make amends by showing some growth in her character. Wishful thinking, I know. Like a deer in the headlights, she started denying things, but had conclusive evidence that she had no intention of fixing her mistakes. Eventually, she fessed up, but went on an odd rant about how there were things that weren't working in the relationship. I assume she is referring to the sex, but I find this odd attempt at gaslighting me to be quite humorous. The psychological profile of her undoing is slowly starting to crystallize in my mind. This man she has been seeing is nearly twice her age and could easily be her father, who, by the way, was barely in the picture and only showed affection by sending her money. I'm no therapist, but it almost seems as though she never came to terms with the fact that she didn't have a father figure growing up and is now trying to find a substitute in this old, quite frankly repulsive man. Minor update 2. I've been hearing from close friends that my ex has been trying to find out how I figured out that she went back to her 48-year-old lover. FYI, she doesn't know that she forgot to log out of her WhatsApp. She's been denying everything about the fact that she is seeing this man and is clearly embarrassed by her actions. I mean, I get it. I too would be embarrassed if I tried to maintain this picture of innocence around my friends and family only to turn into a quasi-sex worker. It's clear that she's trying to use the discussions I've been having with my close friends and family as a wedge to paint me as the bad guy spreading rumors. For the avoidance of any doubt, I've been only speaking to my friends and family about her relapse, not out of any malicious intent, but as a coping mechanism to help me through the pain. The consequence of this information spreading isn't really my concern. If, for some reason, I do start noticing that the tides are turning, I'll simply open up to the fact that I saw all the WhatsApp messages, and while I didn't take any screenshots to maintain my sanity, my word should be worth far more than that of a cheater. I had my first real 8-hour sleep yesterday, and honestly, I feel great. Thanks to every single one of you that commented and sent me DMs encouraging me to stay strong. At this point, it is abundantly clear that I do not want anything to do with her ever again. What started off as pain and anger has now transformed into strength and the will to carry on. I do not feel any more hatred towards her. Instead, I pity the person she has become. From the emotional abandonment of her childhood to crappy exes to self-esteem issues, it's clear to me now that this person was heading down a path that was all too predictable. I was the outlier in her life that tried to veer her off the trajectory that she was, as a result of all her traumas, predestined to embark on. Now it seems that her actions have self-selected her into a life of regret and heartbreak. I won't be there to navigate her back, and while I do not want to see her ever again, I do have enough compassion for her to hope that she finds a partner that will be equally as caring, understanding, and loving, and who will find the strength to trust the word of a cheater. I, for one, will be taking some much-needed time away from long-term dating, but hope that one day the right person will come along that will appreciate me for who I am and all the love I had to give. Again, many thanks for all the comments. I'll be signing off this thread, but will always come back to reread the words of encouragement left by each and every one of you. I wish everyone who is in a similar situation all the love and strength in the world. Let the emotions wash over you. Reflect upon what you feel and wait for time to do the rest. Let's see what the community has for some substance. First up, bro, lean into your family and friends. You'll need them so much right now. Block her and resist all urges to contact. It's only going to make you worse. The pain is going to feel all-consuming and inescapable. But you don't want to wallow in the past because it won't help. Cry and grieve with those you trust most and find something to distract yourself. Healthy eating, physical exercise, new hobbies. It sounds so cliche, but it is the best medicine for betrayal. It don't make you less of a man. If you feel like reconciliation later, do it from a position of strength, not whilst you're broken or you'll risk repeating the same mistakes. Someone else chimes in, first, you should be very proud of yourself for breaking up with her. It is heartbreaking, but was necessary to have a healthy relationship in the future. Second, your self-worth is not something other people grant to you. You decide your worth and value by the way you live your life. You have nothing to do with what your ex did. Cheaters are defective and broken people, and they will cheat even if they have perfect partners. Your ex will try to crawl back to you sooner or later. Don't ever take back a cheater. You are a man of integrity and honor and will find a much better partner easily. So take your time to heal yourself and move on. Nobody can take away your confidence if you don't let them. Be strong and live your life to the fullest. Good luck and best wishes. Hey OP, kudos to you for finding clarity amidst the chaos. Your newfound peace and 8-hour sleep must feel like winning a small but significant battle in the war against the mess she left behind. Keep focusing on yourself, lean into those supportive people around you, and avoid taking any unnecessary detours into the drama-filled sequel. The best revenge is living well and looking fabulous while doing it. As you move forward, remember that your self-worth is something no one can take away from you, not even a certified drama queen. What do you make of this? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.